Hello and welcome to this session where we're going to be looking at how we can do group work with live lessons so we can continue working collaboratively even when we're not physically together. I'm really excited to bring you the session, and it's going to be very much focused around using G Suite products and Google Classroom. So hopefully that is the platform, but I'm sure many of you will be able to transfer some of the skills across to other people, or other platforms, to be able to get it fitted to how you would like it to work in the area or platform that you're using. So the importance of collaboration is, cannot be understated. It's really, really worthwhile making sure that we can get learners accessing, just as we would expect them to, the group work that we might be able to do with them in class. And the more connections that we can build while young people are learning at home, hopefully the more successful their learning experience will be. So I'm going to bring my screen in, and I'm just going to talk you through 5 or 6 of the different ways I've been setting up group work and encouraging people to work together. And then if people have got any questions or thoughts, please do pop them in the chat, or use the hashtag LDL2021 to share your thoughts and reflections on Twitter or other social media, and ask questions, live chat function. If you're watching on the site, you can hit the more button, the share button, and then the 3 dots for the more, and you'll be able to pop that out into YouTube, and you should see the live chat on the right hand side or at the bottom if you're on a mobile device. So do pop bits in the chat there. It's lovely to see your comments and to be able to bring them up on the screen. So screen in nonetheless. So I think the very kind of first one to think about is being able to just use a shared document to be able to get groups of learners working together. So I'm here in a demonstration teacher account, and I've just opened up Google Docs, and this doc is blank, but it could be slides, it could be sheets, it could be drawings, it could be Jamboard, and it could be blank. Or you could have scaffolded the information already and put some kind of template or some kind of pre-filled information, some kind of scaffolding for the young people. So all of those options are absolutely available to you. So what I'm going to do is just go up to the share button here and just share this with learner 1, and then I'm going to share this with learner 2. I've got lots of learners set up. So before I go any further from the share screen, there's 3 types of access levels across G Suite. And I think this is a really huge benefit over other platforms. You can give people an editor access so that they can go in and they can edit the document, have the full access rights. You can give people commenter access. So if they have got commenter access, that means that they can go on and comment on the document using the comments feature, but they can't do anything else. And then you've got viewer access, which means they can see the document, but not edit it. That comment one is unique, and I think it works really nicely, especially if we're wanting to give peer feedback or peer assessment, or teacher feedback, but I guess teachers can be trusted to be in as editors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit send, and I left the box ticked saying it notifies the people. If I hadn't left the box ticked, they can still access that information. So if I go here into the learner account, and I'm going to go into the learner's drive by going to drive.google.com, and I'm going to go into the shared with me option, and I can see here that we've now got a shared doc, and I can open that up. When you go into the shared doc, you can see the people who are working on the document. So up here, I can see that the Braze demo account is working on the account, and we also have the ability to use an in-document chat feature. Now, the chat feature isn't something that will necessarily be accessible in Glow, depending upon the settings for your local authority. So the learner can then, I don't know, pop in some information. This is my work. If we go back into the teacher account, we can see here that their work has gone in, and we can pop a comment in like so. Now, what's also useful is we've got another option underneath this comment option, which is a suggested edit. So, for example, I could highlight the full stop, and then I could suggest an edit, comma, add more here. So then they've got a suggestion that's come in, so they could take that suggestion, and that would accept that. But if they didn't want to accept it, they could also click the cross to reject it. So instead of saying this is my work, I could put in a suggestion here. So you can see I'm still in suggesting mode, so I can just keep working and put this is our work. Oh no, I meant to select the my. Select the my, suggesting mode is on, and then I can just type over it for the word our work. Let's highlight that and type in our, just like so. If we go and look at that in the learners documents, I can now see those have automatically updated, and it happens in real time. And I think, you know, that is really powerful. There's no syncing or any waiting. It is real time. So comment well done. So I can reply to that saying, thank you, and hit reply. And replace my with our. Yeah, this is our work. It is going to be a group piece, so I'll accept that. Oh, add more here. Well, I don't want that printed there, so I'm going to reject that suggestion, but I can go back and type in some more if I wished. You can see the teacher has a bit of work highlighted because they're live working on the document, and you know, for big pieces of text, that's useful to be able to see where different people are working. So, in the simplest form, creating a shared document and sharing it with 2, 3, 4 learners to get group work underway is really powerful, and it's super simple. And you can just send them, once you've shared the document with them, you can either get them the email sent out when you've added their account. So if I just demo this with Learner 3 or Learner 13 in this case, I can have the notify people on, and I can put a personalized message in here and then send that to them. Or I can literally just grab that URL, copy that URL and put it in an email to them, put it in their Microsoft Team, put it in their Google Classroom, or share it through Seesaw or whatever platform you're working with. So they then follow that link in, and then they're ready to go and work away. So once we've done that, what we want to do next is have a look to see how much work each of the learners has done. So opening up the version history and the revision history lets you see who has typed in what work, and you can use the arrows here to scroll through the edits, and so you can really look at those edits really closely and be really granular about who made what changes and when. And it highlights the name, and it highlights which learner had done that as well. So I really like that revision history aspect as well. So as I said, docs, slides, super simple setup. Here's a document, share it with some people, set them on their way. And of course, create the document with something in it if you want to start scaffolding. Let's have a look now at looking at the group work, but in the classroom. So this is the learner account. So I'm going to head myself across to my teacher account here, go into classroom and look at how we can set up group work. So if I go to the classwork page, I'm going to create myself a new assignment. Name is a demo task. I'm going to then either add an item or create an item. So let's just create a doc here. What's useful is the doc will automatically open. I would always advise giving your doc a name. So don't just ever assign an untitled document. It just makes it harder for you to find things in Google Drive or in Classroom at a later date. So I'm going to just call this demo task, and I'm going to give this to group 1. Like so. So students can view the file. Now I want all the students to be able to edit the file. Now, when I go to assign this document, this will, the title of the document will automatically update when we hit the assign button. When we go to assign it, I'm just going to assign it to the children in that group. And I can choose whether I put it in, let's say, a topic, or I could put it in a topic that I create for their group. So both of those options work. So let's first of all put it in the demo topic. And I'll leave everything else as it is for now, and I will just press assign. Hit assign. Fantastic. Okay. So that demo task I've just posted there, and I'll bring this topic up to the top of the page just to make it nice and easy for us to be able to see. And I'll drop these other bits in the classroom down. And this is a nice thing about Classroom. So it's super easy to drag and drop things around. So then you can order things how you like. So I've got my demo task here in my demo topic. Let's go in and have a look at what that looks like for the learner. So they go and the stream is updated. So I just press show. Automatically pops up when it detects an update and it refreshes. Or I can go into the classwork page here and I can see in the demo section we have, oh, it would help if I assigned it. It would help if I assigned put the learner one in the group. Let's go in and edit that. 4 students, none of them are learner one. Save that. Save. Let's go in and see what that looks like as a learner now. And we can see here, if I click onto classwork and go into the demo section here, the demo task has just been assigned, edited a minute ago to include this young person. So they can then go in and they've automatically got access to that document, and that works really nicely. If you look at the share settings in here, you can see it's automatically been shared to the learners who you put into that group. So that works nicely. So I've put that in the demo topic. But let's say I've got multiple children in multiple groups. So let's go back and look at setting that up. So I'm in on the teacher account now. I'm going to create an assignment called demo. I'll call this G1. Okay, I won't add anything to it. Unselectable students, and I'll put in student learner 1, learner 2, learner 3, and learner 4. I'm going to assign that. I'll put that in the demo topic as well. And then I'll create myself another assignment called Demo Group 2. And this time here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to select Learner 5, Learner 6, Learner 7, and Learner 8. And I'm going to hit Assign. Okay. So that's 2 groups worth of work set up there. Oh, I forgot to put in the topic again. That's okay. Just drag and drop it and it will automatically do it for me. So I've now got 2 groups worth of work here. I'm going to go in and look at this as Learner 1. Learner 1 there automatically updates to me, has got the demo for Group 1, but doesn't see the task for Group 2 because it's only appears for those who it's assigned to. So we can do the same thing there with topics. If I go back in as the teacher, this has got all my topics here. So let's add 2 new topics. So we'll call the first topic Group 1 and the second topic Group 2. I can drag demo group G1 in there, demo G2 in there. And if I go back into the learner view now, give that a little refresh, you can see that I put the topics and the assignments in the wrong way around. So let's move those like so. There you go. And then let's refresh that. And that looks much better. So learner one is in group one and they can see the work in group one. So with my senior classes, I had a National 5 higher and advanced higher group all in the same class. So I put topics for National 5, topics for higher and topics for advanced higher. And I would sometimes just need to adjust who was seeing what groups. So they should only see the group that they're in. And I was creating those groups by each time I assigned the work. I was selecting the students from the drop-down menu here. Now, a feature that people often request, and you can do that down here, go down and request feature, is for you to be able to create groups of 4, 5, 6 students and have them as an option in here. So when you tick the box, that group of students is automatically all ticked for you. So that feature doesn't exist at the moment, but I know it is a feature that is requested a lot, so worth keeping an eye out on. The flexibility here is obviously you can change your groups around really easily because you're just going in and manually selecting the groups of learners. But what you can do, and we'll demonstrate this, is to create a classroom for your group. So if you know you're always going to have the same 4 or 5 children in the same group, I would strongly suggest setting up a classroom for that group, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to, not join the class. I'm going to create a class, and I'm just going to call this class group 1. None of the other information is required, so you can just leave it blank, and the class will create for you. Once the class has created, we're going to go in and we'll add ourselves our learners that we want in the group. So learner 1, learner 2, learner 3, and that will be fine for now. So we've now got ourselves them invited. So I go into the learner option, head to my classes, and the learner is fine. Patience. Hit join. You're always so impatient when you're demoing live. You're like, why is it not there? Panic. It's fine. Patience. It will be there. Have faith. So we're now in the group 1 classroom. There's nothing currently assigned to it. So let's go into the teacher mode and go into classwork. You can see here the learner has gone to no longer being a shaded color. They're in bold because they are now live. So let's go into the classwork page here and hit create. Now I'm going to start off by creating an assignment, and I'm going to just add, create a Google Doc. Task 1, an untitled document. Let's give this a name as task 1. Fantastic. Remove the text out of that. Okay. Let's get that assigned. Now then, this I think is really clever. Let's close these just to keep my tabs simple. So task 1, if we go into the share button here, you'll find I've got an email address that's created, and in Glow you'll find these email addresses are quite long. You can copy and paste that email address. So now if I create another, let's create a Google Slides. So just going to go to slides.new, not in the learner view though. Oh no, that is in the teacher view, that's good. So we go to slides.new. Group work. Drop there we go, that's good. Now then, I've got the group work task here that I want them to do, but I don't want to necessarily assign it through Classroom for whatever reason. I want them to work on it and then present it somewhere else. But I know I want that group of children in this classroom to be able to work on it. If I go to the share button, I can share it with a group, and Google Classroom automatically creates that group of learners for me. So here it is. That is the group code, and then I just hit done. So now hopefully if I go in or back to the shared option, I should be able to go in and see those documents as the learner. So go in, see my task 1 document. So that is quite a nice way to be able to share documents with groups of children and also share documents with individual learners. Now, if I go back into my teacher account here, if I go into groups.google.com, now, depending on your local authority, this service may or may not work. Now, Groups was essentially set up to be kind of a message board space, but I don't really use it for the, or I don't use it for the message board stuff. I use it to create email groups for learners. So these are all the groups in the domain that other people have access to. This is a training domain, so there's been lots of people setting up lots of groups. So I'm going to just set this group up saying group work demo, and this gives this an automatic email address as well. And you can choose different access levels for your groups as well. So who can view conversations? So I don't want to use it for conversations, so I'm going to put group owners. Who can post? Group owners. And who can view? Members, group owners. Who can join the group? Only invited users will be in this group. And I'm going to hit next. So group members, I'm going to add learner 2, learner 1, learner 3. If you wanted to add anyone so they could add people to the group, you could add them as a manager or owner. I don't want them to receive any email about it, and I want to directly add the members so they won't get invited to the group, they're just going to get directly put into it, create the group. So the group is being created, and this is called Group Work Demo. So if I grab that email address and just by copying and pasting it, I go to Sheets, got new. Demo group worksheet. Go to the share button. And if I pop in here, group work demo email address, and then hit send, don't need to notify the people. They will automatically all be added as editors. So going into the learner view and popping into Drive, if I look at the shared with me option here, I can now see that demo group worksheet is there, and they can go in, and that will be the same for all the learners. So using Google Groups as a way of being able to create groups that you can invite children to work on shared documents collaboratively with, that can work really nicely as well. Of course, we want to be able to make use of those comments because that certainly helps keep the conversations going. So talking about good comment etiquette is also something that I would strongly encourage. When they're in their group classroom, you're obviously wanting to keep the conversation going. So a good place for them to keep the conversation going is being able to announce something to the class. So I would leave the announcement on or the option for students to be able to post in the stream. And if we go into the teacher settings, we can look at what that looks like in here. So this is in as a teacher looking at the class settings, and you can see here the stream where the students can post and comment. So let's say I've got a classroom where I've got every child in the year group in. I would suggest you would have only teachers can post or comment in that type of classroom. But if you've got small group work classrooms where you want to create a space where they can chat collaboratively and share ideas with each other, then I would be strongly suggesting that you have that so students can post and comment, because you want that level of engagement. And you can also choose whether their classwork is displayed on the stream or not as well. So if you're wanting to create space where they're having conversations about the work, then actually when you post a new assignment up, you might not necessarily want that to interrupt that flow. So in the group work area, I would be hiding those notifications. And I would assume during a live lesson or in an instruction that you've posted up as a teacher in the announcement section, you would then signpost them to the classwork page to be able to access that. So I'm going to go in here as the learner. and I can see here I've got the ability to be able to post to my stream, which is great. In terms of in the classwork page, I've got my links to my individual documents. Okay, one of the other things that we wanted to talk about was how we could do our group work in a live lesson. So we could look at in Meet, for example. So let's go to meet.google.com. Now, in Glow, teachers can set up Meets, but students can't. So if I've got a class with 30 children in it, it's probably going to be too difficult for me to set up 6 or 7 different Meets to get all those children in at the same time. So don't feel you have to do everything all of the time. Splitting people into groups to be able to work at different times so you can better supervise the group works absolutely well as well. So to do that, I sometimes suggest to people, if they log in using an incognito browser window, which they can get by going up here on the More button and clicking New Incognito window, you can log in several times but have control to be able to mute different Meets. So I will open all our Meets in the same browser though. So I'm on the learner account. So let's go back to the teacher account, go into Meet, and I'm going to type in here group 1, and that's going to create a Meet there. My camera's starting. I'll allow it. I'll give you a wave and I'll turn it off because we don't need to look at lots of me. So this is group 1 set up there. I can then go in here and I can set up another Meet, and you can set up multiple Meets using nicknames. Group 2, join. Okay, and get that join now. So I've now got two Meets. So when you're sharing out your Meet links to your breakout rooms that we're creating here, make sure you're sharing the meeting nickname. Don't share the Meet code. So let's go into my learners one here. Let's get them joining group 1. Hit join. I just need to allow everything again. We can see here my demo teacher account is on. Oh, I'll turn my camera off again. And we go into join now. So this has got us in the meeting of a breakout space as a learner. But looking at the teacher view, I can see I've got learner 1 in here, and I can have another group of learners working in another Meet, on separate work. And right-clicking with the ability to mute tabs is really useful. You might just need to play with your setup a little bit just to work out how you can mute 1 tab and not 2 tabs, or if you're happy listening to 2 conversations at the same time. So don't feel you need to have every young person working on group work at the same time. You can absolutely, use that. So how would I then share this information out to children? Well, I would go into the classroom as the teacher, and let's post it in the big class here. Announcement. Add myself a link. Meet.google.com. Please join your group, and then I would go group code as follows. Group 1 is literally group 1, or group nicknames. Post that up, and the learners will be able to see that, and they'll be able to access their Meets using the nickname functionality, which is one of the most secure ways to be able to get them in. The other thing, of course, obviously, with creating that space is also making use of the Meet link in the classroom. So if I go back into my teacher account, and you can see here I'm in the group 1 classroom, I can generate myself a Meet link. I would turn the visibility on when I want students to see it, and turn it off when a live lesson isn't occurring. So maybe turn it on 5 to 10 minutes before when you first join. Hit save and use that. So that link can now be used by the students to be able to access their group 1 work at a time that the lesson has been enabled for, and you can have multiple groups meet working at the same time. And like with all of these things, it's about starting small, trying it with a couple of groups of users, and then going and trying it again with someone else to see what you can see what's working for you and slowly grow it. But don't feel you need to have every learner doing everything at the same time. Just like you would in the classroom, you might have groups of young people working on different things. Apply that thought process to your digital learning as well. And if that means you've got less children in a live lesson or less children in the group work, but the quality of interaction is better, then that is absolutely worth doing in my book. And you will find things that work for you and your learners. Okay, thank you so much for joining me for this look at group work and the different ways that we can set group work up and organize it. Hopefully, in terms of assigning work by using a doc and sharing it with the learners, and they can find that in their Google Drive, or you can share the link with them, is a useful way just to get going if you've not really done any group work at all and you think that would be something that's useful. Using Google Classroom and assigning work in the classroom that you're already working with, hopefully that's a potentially useful way of doing and accessing things. And I guess the difficulty there is if you're assigning it just down to groups of people, there's that manual process that's involved with that in terms of picking out the learners. Do request a feature if you think that it would be useful to be able to set up groups within those learners, because I can certainly see a case for that. But my workaround, as I showed you, was to create a separate classroom and be able to use the group's email address, or create a Google group and use that Google group email address to be able to invite learners to groups or documents, or sharing those documents through the classroom to them so they're automatically given the right permissions. Talking of permissions, we've of course got that viewer permission, the commenter permission, and the editor permission, which is a nice way of being able to share things out. Which reminds me, I'd like to show you something in terms of with the links and the URL. So I'm going to bring my screen back in. If you've got any questions, do drop them in the chat. So this is the Omnibox. In the Omnibox is where my URL appears. Now, on the end, you can see here, I've currently got the word edit. What's amazing is you can change this to do different things. So if I change that to the word preview, it's giving me a full preview of my Google Slides. So if I wanted a viewer just to view the document, I can share it with them. And I'd send them the link probably with the word preview on the end, because it will blow it straight up into full screen for them, which is a really nice way to look at it. If I put present on the end, it brings it up, but these present tools are visible to me straight on the end. If I put edit on the end, it brings me back to the editor, so I can go and make changes. And this one is particularly cool. If I put copy on the end, it will give people the option to be able to make a copy of the document. And I could take that URL and I could drop that URL into a chat, for example, and you will hopefully see that appearing in the chat on your YouTube stream here, that you could click on. And if you wanted a copy of that document, you could go in and grab yourself a copy. Now, I might need to check the sharing settings for that if I'm sharing something publicly. So I'll just drop this down and make that anyone with a link can then get a copy. Otherwise, they might get an error message. But that's a really neat little hack in terms of just changing the ending of your slideshow, and that works with other Google Docs as well, like Sheets and Docs. So well worth exploring with that in terms of being able to share things out really easily. When you've created a group workspace, for example, in a Google Classroom, think about encouraging the use of Google Comments. Think about how you want that stream to work. So do you want everyone to be able to just comment in the classroom, or is it something you want to restrict? Do you want that classwork appearing and interrupting potentially that flow of discussion between a group work? And sometimes, especially with younger learners, they might all just want to say hi and effectively hit the keyboard and spam them with lots of bits and bobs. Do you know what? I think that's okay to start with. It's about getting young people used to the technology, getting them communicating, and then you can funnel that enthusiasm and that ability into the work. I guess it's about getting that hook to be able to get them captured. Making use of the comments features in documents, the suggestion modes in documents as well. Also really, really important. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. Hopefully you're going to be able to either do something through Google Classroom or use the Google Meet stuff and create yourself using nickname meets, some breakout spaces for learners to be able to work in, because I think small groups in terms of achieving engagement are really, really important. So I wish you the very best of luck with that. And please do share your thoughts on Twitter using the hashtag LDL2021. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now. Next session is at 1:30.